white borders, you're fine. Oh my days.
That's what I thought you said. Yeah,
Hey, welcome to the
Welcome to the Middle of Podcast. This is a podcast about the journey of life. My name is Mako Mborero, and I am your host. And today we've got three pretty cool guests with us. One at this point should really just be called a co-host,
regular schmegular.
and his homie's not here today. But
The middle of Matthew's life. I don't even have to introduce myself at this point.
no, it's fine because everyone seems to know you now.
Thanks.
So it's cool. But yeah, my name is Mako Mborero. Please do make sure to follow us on our socials. So at the middle, T Middle Podcast on Instagram. You can follow me at Mako_Cads. You can follow these three guys. They'll say their links just now. Please make sure to like the video, to comment, to subscribe if you want to stay tuned in and up to date with everything else that's going on. Also, if you are listening, please make sure to leave a 5-star rating, especially if you're enjoying the podcast. And yeah, please let us know who you guys are. We will start with from maybe left, then right, then last to the other guy who's here,
that guy.
the bearded guy.
So I go.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm Jocelyn. What else do I have to say about myself?
Who are you?
I am a girl.
Josie.
I'm from Ghana, but I live in the UK.
What are you doing in Zimbabwe?
For vibes, really.
Hey, YKTV. Ha, you know the vibes. Alright, cool.
Okay, I'm Alison Sawajka.
Hey.
I don't know what to say about myself, because I'm multi-talented and everything.
Come on.
What
That's
am
good
I supposed
multi-talented.
to talk about in this sphere of life? I'm a podcaster too.
Come on.
Yeah.
What's your podcast
Shameless
called?
plug.
know?
It's called the Al Boost Podcast.
Okay. Put a link. We'll put a link in the description.
Over here.
Listen, like,
No,
Over here.
you can't put links
here.
on the screen.
Are your editing skills good? We wanted
You
here.
can't put
Okay,
links
Okay,
on
fine.
the
We wanted here.
You
This
said
guy.
in the description box.
No, we want it on the
The
screen.
description is down there.
Okay. And I am your co-host, Matthew Wazora. So the link will be here on my chest to her podcast. The link to her YouTube will be somewhere up
Oh
here.
my gosh, don't.
In between
Don't.
my
You
fingers.
know what? You know what? It doesn't work that. That's how you know it's not the real. He doesn't edit anything, and that's how you know.
I will
He's just
make sure.
pointing.
Just
He'll be like
Yeah.
over there,
Yeah, on my
and over
chest.
there.
It
He's
just shows up.
huh?
Right here.
Hey.
is it
That's how you know he doesn't edit
It's got He
anything.
wants to show us something.
That is
Ah.
just.
That is just chesting.
And I just like saying a big shout out to Dough by Zoe for today's donuts. We are trying my personal favorite flavor, which is the choc chip. Oh yeah, and the water. Hey, they even have water, guys, because you gotta stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated.
You know, it's summertime. You know, it's gotta.
I mean,
Yeah.
my
It's...
fingers are saying otherwise, but sure. Just saying.
All right, so yeah, please go ahead, get your donuts in. Yeah, I think it's always interesting when you have like you guys are friends, right?
Yeah,
Really.
sometimes.
Depends on the day.
How you wake up.
You know?
Yeah, no, I get it.
Not so much.
Yeah.
Maybe after the gym.
Okay. But when you woke up, you're like,
Don't
this
talk
guy
to me,
is very
don't look at me.
average. Yeah, just
know?
let's go where we need to go.
Average.
Yeah. I love you too. But with that being said, like,
Serious.
it's good, huh?
Serious.
We're gonna have to have a conversation downstairs later.
Because Liz, anyway.
These are really good.
Dough by Zoe.
Even the
I can't stop.
Ghanaians.
I wanted to stop. I wanted to stop. I can't
You can
stop.
put them back in here if you want to like keep it for later.
Wait, one more
I'll
bite.
just put mine over here.
One-
That good, huh? Yeah, I feel like everyone listening is just hearing.
Cream, cream, cream.
Should have been an ASMR video.
But yeah, in terms of being friends with people and stuff, she became my friend yesterday.
No, Monday.
Actually, the day before yesterday, Monday.
Monday.
On Monday.
Best friends.
Josie and I, it's my dog,
It's my babes.
you know the vibes. Allison's been, it's been time. Yay!
I don't like people, so none of them are my homies.
Leave.
Because it's my
You
show.
can actually go in.
It's my show.
Main character energy.
I'll switch off
You
the
remove
camera.
immediately.
Game over.
Let's go blank. Yeah, he's a lot, huh?
Too much.
But even with that being said, like having homies and stuff, I feel like you've got your usual like main group and people you normally like talk to and relate with, but you also have like different groups, yeah? Like, so it's not to say like you've got friends for specific things, but like let's say you're at work, you've got people who you interact with at work. So they may not be your friends, but maybe like colleagues or whatever. At school, you may interact with different people compared to, you know, like outside of school, or at church may be different compared to out of church. And not that like you're intentionally like, I need different groups, but just the people who you find there are different.
Yeah.
And maybe just like part of the chat would be maybe, what are your friend groups generally like? So maybe we'll start with you, Alison.
Well, like you just said, like my friends in different places provide different services. That sounds really scandalous.
Yeah.
But different friends, different circles, different experiences, and stuff like this. So there's the fire.
Cookies, the real.
Your charges.
Yes. And then there's obviously there's you.
Ah.
As an entity.
Wow.
not
It's like,
individually.
yeah.
It's my friends, and then
That's fine.
there's you. No.
It's fine.
I know,
But
right?
yeah, I guess, different friends, different places, different vibes.
Okay. For you, Matt?
I think for me, of late, I've been sort of like fine-tuning my friends. So I find that a lot of them are like-minded. Well, more so, maybe not like-minded, but I think we have similar principles and values.
Okay.
That's what I've been trying to push a lot. But obviously, you do have those friends where, I don't know, let me speak, for example, for gents. Like, I haven't spoken to someone since Form 1s, but when you see them,
It's like, yo.
it's as if like there was no
What
love
up?
lost, no time lost.
Yeah.
And you can kick it like that. There's
Yeah.
still those friends, but in friendship there's tiers. You get me? Like you're saying, at work you have your colleagues. You don't really talk to them.
Yeah, it was a week. It was good. Great.
Stuff.
Anyway, so like,
And then there's
spreadsheets.
those ones like from a while back where no love lost, but you don't really have much input in your life at this point.
Yeah.
And then there's people that, like, when I say I'm fine tuning, there's people I'm like, okay, cool, principles, values, morals are the same.
Let's go.
Let's go with them.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like I echo most of like what you've all said, but I would say for me it's always been like a small group of people that I can see are like my people. I feel like I tried being in a bigger group of people when I went to uni. I thought I could be a big girl. I almost died.
It was got
I
swallowed.
almost died. So it's always been like a small group of people. There are people that I know I can go to talk about different things. But then also for me, I'd say like my closest friends are probably like my mum and my sister. Like those are. That sounds so serious, but it's true.
Hey.
Yeah, no, but it's good.
No. Tell the people what you said.
It's good.
Yeah, those are my people. But like you guys said, I think there are. You just have to be aware of that. There are people for everything, and also it's not every person that you meet that is your friend.
Your
Like,
friend.
Yeah.
know when to establish that it's an acquaintance. Know
Yeah.
when to establish that it's
Like
not
this
by
is
force.
like we're cool and yeah.
And that's fine.
You?
Well, for me, now that you asked, I think, I sort of, not to say intentionally put into 3 grades, but I'd say that's the best way to put it across, that they are people where, like, these are my friends. Like, these are my close friends. These are people where, like, we have similar, sort of like you said, similar principles, similar ways of, not the same way of thinking, but we may see from different lenses, but it's with the same foundation, so to say.
Yeah.
And I find that very important, especially if the people are going to speak into your life and who are going to like influence what you think, what you say, how you move, how you talk, because the people closest to you tend to do that, right? Then you've got people who you're cool with, like the acquaintances, or I call them homies. You know, people say homies are closer than friends, but I have it the other way around. Where like you're cool, you're friendly, you're a bit more than acquaintances, but you're not close friends either. Where like we can kick it and go for coffee, like we can do things together, but you may not necessarily be like
Tell them
in
what
my
they stuck.
exactly, yeah. We may have general raps, you know.
Okay.
Then you've got like acquaintances where like we know each other, we'll talk every now and again, and that's
And we
about
see
it.
each other
And you
in
bump
social
into
things.
each other.
Exactly, yeah. But I think maybe more so like the conversation that would be really dope to have is just sort of how do you guys balance being in a specific, so let's say like with your friends who are close, I think we also said there's similar, like there's similarities,
Yeah.
and how do you then balance being, are you a Christian?
Yes.
Are you a Christian?
Of course.
Just checking.
I feel like it's
Stop the
so
tape.
I've been
Cut
telling
it.
you.
Stop the
Like,
tape.
listen,
Wrap it up.
Jocelyn, it's been great.
Get out.
We'll wait for you. You can go outside the door. No, we'll be like, no, sit here. Let me tell you about Jesus.
Yes, evangelize. Spread the
Bible
gospel.
bashing.
You know, let me tell you about Jesus. Do you know who Jesus? He's your best friend.
Oh, thank you. I never knew.
Yeah, now you
I never
know.
knew.
But I guess maybe more so as people who are Christians and stuff. How do you guys go about, because you work, right?
Mhm.
You're
Tragically.
what?
Huh? Listen, anyone has $1 million that they want to send me, okay. Bank details will be in
The link
description
will be in the
box.
It'll be
description
here.
below.
Cash out.
We'll put them here.
As
On
we
your
cash
phone.
out.
It'll be here.
Oh my
Oh my days.
Gosh.
But like, yeah, like you're at work, you're in uni. What do you do in uni?
What do? I study medicine.
Come on. Call me
Doctor,
doctor.
baby.
Dr.
Oh,
B.
yes.
Dr. B.
Okay.
That's yours. Guys, yours.
Oh, my mannerisms are coming out straight. You know, open them from yo, hey, I'm tired.
Oh.
So yes, I'm studying medicine, and like I said, I have a podcast, and I'm also a nail tech. So I like come into contact
It
with a lot
makes
of people.
sense.
No, yeah,
It
does
makes
that.
sense. It makes sense.
But yeah, so I meet a lot of people,
Yeah.
and I recently learned how to differentiate between like a proper friend and someone you just know. Because everybody, when you're in that kind of business, you know, at salons, I don't know if it's the same for guys, like at your barber. Hey, people like to confess. People like to tell you their things. People will tell you their stories, you know,
Yeah.
and they will confuse you for a friend. You're being friendly in that moment, and you're being there for them. It doesn't mean like after that we're going to be you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
There's so much more that gets into becoming a friend, in my opinion. But how do I deal with being Christian and being with maybe non-Christian friends?
Yeah, like maybe
Or-
being like in circles where, and this is not so much to say like there's nothing wrong with having friends who are not Christians, but it's more so to say how do you keep true to yourself? Because I guess maybe part of what we've said is like you tend to find people who've got similar principles, but sometimes you're in places where you spend a lot of time with people who don't have the same principles. How do you
Navigate that.
navigate that space?
I wasn't navigating before.
Uh.
You know, I was going with vibes. I was running on vibes before. Like, if you're cool, good morals, something like that,
Something like that. Yeah.
we can move.
Yeah.
But I think now that I've become a little more intentional with my walk, with Christ and stuff like this, it's a little bit different because you start to see. I don't want to say it like that, but that's what I mean. But that's not what I mean. Like, you start to see how much they need Jesus. That's not how I wanted to put it. Like, you start to see how Jesus is important because you see what he's doing in your life,
Yeah.
Oh,
and you want to share it with your
Someone
friend,
else,
but
yeah.
they don't believe in that.
Okay.
You know, like, what example can I give? Things are going well. My business is going well. The podcast is going well. School is going well. They're like, how are you doing it? And I really want to tell you Jesus. And in the beginning, I didn't know because I didn't think they'd understand to say it's Jesus, baby. But now I say it. I'm like, it's the Jesus, baby. And maybe that's also going to help them be like, who is Jesus guy?
Yeah.
Does it really work? So I think for now, that's how I'm doing it, dropping little subtle Jesuses in there to make it known. Because I think that before I wasn't really clear. Like everybody knew I was a Christian. I was going to church and everything. But the way I was behaving and the way
And then what you're saying and what you were
I'm
doing.
doing is not going together.
Yeah.
But now, being more intentional, I'm kind of trying to be like, yeah, and so Jesus is great, or like God bless you, like small little to my
Cut
chats,
something,
you know, to make it evident that I'm about this Jesus life now.
Yeah.
I'm a new creation.
I'm a new creation. I'm a brand new man. Thanks. Alright, that's dope. And for you, Jocelyn?
I don't know. I don't think it's something that I necessarily try to overthink about. I just feel that if you are like fully aware of God's truth and just everything that He is, you are just a walking light. And so your whole life and just the way you carry yourself without overthinking should just kind of be an exhibition of that. Like you don't have to change who you are. When I go to work, like I am who I am. And like you said, it's through your actions, it's through the things that you kind of do, the things that you kind of say, and just kind of your outlook on life, I think.
Yeah.
Like you're not always, being a Christian doesn't make you hunky-dory and like happy all the time. Like you still go through life's things. But I think it's very much just about, carrying God's light and doing life the way you feel like you should be doing it according to like God and your faith.
Yeah.
And don't overcomplicate it, and don't be like, oh, you're a Christian, I'm a Christian, you're not a Christian, this can't be a thing. Because at the end of the day, if we're also trying to bring as many people to know Christ as possible, then we
Also
need to be
reach out.
engaged. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
And having those kind of conversations. And honestly, I think a lot of the time speaking to non-Christians can be very insightful. It gives you an idea on how to
100%.
approach like people and what people are going through, and like because it's very easy to just go in and be like Jesus loves you, but everyone wants to
You're
know
like,
why.
who's that?
Yeah.
First thing,
everyone- and
not even
how-
why.
first
Who
of
is
all,
that?
yeah.
Yeah.
And second of all, why? Because there's a lot of heartache and heartbreak in the world. Like I don't mean that just in like a relationship sense, but I mean that in general.
Yo.
Free my
I
Jones.
don't mean it in a
Hey,
relationship sense.
it's okay, Justin.
Listen, anyway, I mean it as in like people are going through stuff. Life is hard.
100%.
So, if you're able to just kind of, like you were saying, exhibit through your life how amazing He is, then it makes it easier. Don't overthink it.
Yeah. And I'd even go as far as maybe even, not as far, but I guess the question would then be like, so you are in your different circles. Have you ever had situations where people say, hey, like, tell me more. Like, I see how you're living. I see how you're doing stuff. Has anyone ever been like, seen how you're living, how you're doing certain things, and been like, hey, tell me a bit more?
I think that's why it's important, like what you're saying. If you're living the life of a Christian through and through, right? You can't act in the workplace and this and this and that. And the only way I think to get through to people is when you have a relationship with them. So it's not like a thing where you're like, you can't be friends with Christians, because one, you're not gonna understand that person's language.
Thanks.
So just gonna go Bible bashing like, hey.
John 3 verse 16.
They're already against us because like we're seen as Bible bashers. It's gonna shove scripture down my throat, right? But if I'm friends with Mark when he's a heathen, right, or a non-Christian, or has any other,
It had to be Marco as the example, huh? You couldn't have said like a rant like John. No one who's on the podcast. It has to be
It had to
Marco.
be you.
okay, but
And then he points
a
at me.
random person,
Aye.
right? Even
Yeah.
of another religion.
John.
John, we'll use John. We'll use John, right? I may figure out through my relationship with John that if chats with him over FIFA is what gets to him, and then we can talk about. That's when we have those deep chats where we're talking about life, religion, and whatever. And even though we're playing FIFA, he's deeping it.
Yeah.
Versus
yeah.
when you just come with your
Straight up,
abrasive and just
energy.
this you're wrong because you're not. It doesn't help. So I
Doesn't
think
work.
Yeah.
so that accompanied with living the life, because people at some point will be like, why do you do those things? So what's the reason behind whatever? Why do you pray in the morning? Why do you do this? Why do you do that?
Yeah.
Because you see it with other religions, like for school example, like the Muslim guys, they didn't bring pork, or they had their beards,
Yeah.
whatever.
Or they'd leave school.
So
early.
it was already like you could see that there's different in lifestyle, and then it pushed the conversation forward. And when you spoke to them, they were low key evangelizing like their thing
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah.
So it goes hand in hand with having a relationship and then also actually living the life, because people will be able to tell like this man's is moving different.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
That's true. That's true. I think, you know, I remember being sort of like in uni and having like a group of friends who we were cool. We would like talk all the time, like every day, whatever. Like cool. We'll go out for like food and everything. And I remember one day someone was like, "So like this Christian thing, can I come on a Friday with you?" And I was like, "Sure." Like I didn't deep it too much, but they were like, "The reason I want to come is because like." Why are you always happy? And I was like, I'm not always happy, but like, the joy of the Lord is my strength. No, and it's so funny to say now, but like, you really can go like through difficult situations or whatever, but because your outlook is based on like the word and scripture and stuff, and because it's actually living inside you, you're living out that joy even when you're in the pits, right? You're kind of like, and it does, just because you've got joy doesn't mean you can't be sad now. You can be sad and still have joy.
It doesn't negate from that. It's just that your hope is different. You know that there's something bigger at the end. You know it's true. Like
We know you live in the UK.
Negate.
You guys know that word, eh?
Are you taking notes?
Add it to the vocab. Others, all they know is the word. They know it from reading books. They don't actually know it to apply. They just know from reading books. They
You
can't
hear the
apply.
difference? You said
Done.
it doesn't take away from that. It doesn't
Negate. I had to use like 3 words. She was like, bam.
Come
One.
on.
Eh? Hey.
Next level.
Josie.
You got the message. Your hope is different. You know that there's more to life.
Yeah.
You know that, you just don't bank on like the same things. Whereas for the majority of the world, everyone goes up and it's like, okay, got to do my degree, got to get my master's, got to get a job, got to make this much money. But in the grand scheme of things, we're all just like literally waiting for God to just fulfill everything and be done.
Yeah.
And in that time, there'll be no more pain, no more suffering. I doubt we'll have to work. Like
Revelation
it'll be
chapter.
chilling. So
Yeah.
no stress.
Yeah. I think then comes like the other side of the conversation as well, which I think I've been asking, maybe not so much myself, but partially myself, or rather I've been thinking about this more recently, is more of like, okay, cool, like, you're Christian, dope, you are interacting with non-Christians, that's still cool, like, you know, you're reaching out to people, you're evangelizing in a friendly manner, so to say. Or you're just relating to people, getting to know more about them and their lives in general. But then comes the question, like, do you ever feel pressure to... It's getting worse.
Wow, the pressure is getting worse.
But do you ever feel pressure to, like, maybe not so much be a certain person, but to be a better you regarding a given thing? So let's say, for example, you preach the gospel of being clean or like having clean shoes. And now you're like, oh, I've got a mark on my shoes, but I need them to be clean. So I'm going to like be late so that I can clean my shoes. I know that's not the best example, but do you ever feel like pressure to be more Christ-like because it can feel like more eyes are on you? So the moment that someone knows you're a Christian, sometimes like people want to hold you to a certain standard and you're like, I'm not there yet. I'm working myself to that standard, but I'm not there yet. So do you sometimes feel pressure to like jump to that standard today, knowing that you may only get there like in 2 days, for example? Kanzi,
Yes,
no.
I like it. Teach me,
She's
please.
not concerned.
Because at the end, no, no. The thing is, I don't know. I feel like your faith walk is a very personal thing, and God knows that you're not perfect, and He's
Yeah.
not expecting you to be. It's your heart for Him, and it's you being intentional about it.
Yeah.
But as for
No, but
external
Jocelyn, you're a
forces-
Christian.
Yes, but as for
No, I'm not. That's not me. But
You're
I'm just
basically
saying,
doing- I know.
if someone then say you've
But
had
then-
those
but then
situations,
that's-
and
but
people are
then-
like, no, but you're a Christian. You
Yeah.
can't do that.
Yeah.
then that's you
Yeah.
using your standards against me, whereas all I'm working towards is God's standards.
Hey.
Genuinely, I can't. There have been in the past, especially like when I was in school,
Mm.
immediately because people thought I was a Christian, they immediately thought I was judgmental. Oh, have you
Oh,
told
yes.
Jocelyn this? Oh my gosh, does Jocelyn know about that? I'm like, I don't know your business.
I don't want to.
I'm not involved. And
Yeah.
honestly, I'm also not judging you. Like, each to their own. Everyone's doing their own thing in life. Everything is about self-focus. Like, why are you looking left?
Mm.
That's my right. Why are you looking left?
Yeah, I did one of these items.
Honestly,
Left.
yeah, no, I don't know. I feel like as our age, we can spend a lot of time putting pressure on ourselves in so many areas when there's not really a need. I think we don't give ourselves enough grace to just kind of grow and make mistakes. And if you now bring,
Question.
yeah,
I agree with what you're saying, right? But what if the person's standard, right, meets you, like it's aligning with your personal standard and where your walk is with God? Do you get what I'm saying?
but they're applying pressure for me to be at that place.
No, but it's more just like you know what I'm talking about. Like you've had this scenario where they're just like, but you're a Christian. Like what do you say? You're not supposed to do that, and you know you're not supposed to do that, and you're working towards that standard. Because we, at the end of the day, we have to hold ourselves to a different standard.
Yeah.
That's right.
So let's say the situation here is like Alice and I have had a fallout, right? And we know we're not supposed to gossip, right? And then I tell Matthew goes, Josie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yet, let's say John is over here because John is.
Well,
a
so
great-
now he wants
my
to use
God.
another example.
There's
but he
John.
usually
John.
focuses it.
John.
Listen,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Come,
maybe he's
just
trying to
stand
say
there,
something.
John. Okay. So John is standing here, right?
Yeah.
And and John knows Matthew and John have had a conversation before, and Matthew's told John that, yeah, I know, like Christian walk, whatever. This is something that I'm working on, right? And then John says, "Hey, you're not supposed to
Should be
gossip."
doing that, I feel that. Then I guess you
But
just have
he's-
to hold
but he's
yourself to
working on it.
account.
Yeah.
And remember that you're human. Like,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
all know what we're not supposed to do, but then we all at
Doing
some
it.
points fall flat. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Paul said it in the
There's-
Bible.
We all, but I guess it's self-awareness.
Yeah.
Yourself.
Yeah.
And if someone points out for you, it's about your pride. Are you gonna acknowledge it and take it and be like, you're right, actually,
right.
or are you going to be all defensive?
Yeah.
And that then is a you problem. You need to.
Your response.
that.
Okay.
I think for me, it's a little bit opposite, but I love what you said because I've actually learned something and then with a revelation, a light bulb moment. But I felt pressure actually because all of us have a sense of wanting to belong. So when you go to uni, or when I went to uni personally, I came with these great values in principles, and I was so ready to like be that person. But then, yay.
Life.
It's
Life
so
really
much
life.
easier to pull someone to that side rather
Yeah.
than to bring someone to Christ. And so I was diluted along the way. But still that sense of I know who I am. I have an idea of who God wants me to be. And this is not it.
Yeah.
And someone else who knows me will come and point that out. And it felt like a lot of pressure because I felt like I was expected to, like it's a step and not like a gradual, journey. It felt like I just have to go, "Wee." One day I need to just wake up and be this new creation. Behold, I'm a new creation, kind of situation. So I felt the pressure, and I actually did a personal moment this year mostly, and it was terrible
Yeah.
because it's an internal conflict. You are trying to live one way but currently you're not.
Mm-hmm.
That's the truth. You're
Yeah.
not living the way that you want to, and it feels like there's all these expectations for you to get to the life you're supposed to live,
Yeah.
and it actually caused me to deviate even more because I'm trying to compensate. You know, so sometimes I'd end up being like, I mean, I'm just doing it anyway, so
So
Might
that's
as
all
well.
that it
might
is.
as well, might as well, might as well.
Yeah.
And also something that came into mind when Jocelyn was talking. There's a place in the Bible where it talks about how not everything we do is beneficial. Like, and it was referring to like specifically when people would eat meat that had been offered to idols, and for us it doesn't matter because we've been set free.
Yeah.
It don't matter like
See,
that.
baby.
But yeah,
Free
but
bodies.
when someone else sees you eating that meat, according to like that passage in those times, it was like, Christian eating the meat that we prayed for to our idols.
Yeah.
It's not beneficial because it leads someone else astray. So I think that started to be my thought process to say, no, the way I live actually matters because I understood that I was free.
Yeah.
So God will allow me to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's fine. But Ningi next to me is not saved or is not at that spiritual maturity or hasn't had the revelation that no, Alison and all of us are free to do this. So to them it's like, so this is what them Christians be doing, and it's putting pressure on me because I'm trying to be living my life the way I know Jesus and me are cool.
Yeah.
You know, and it was a lot of pressure, but like now I'm just doing what I want to do, me and my Jesus, and hoping. And my prayer though, on a daily basis is, even though I'm doing what I want to do within the bounds of Christ, let it glorify God to impact someone else to see the freedom
Yeah.
that like Christianity is not yay
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
much as people think that it is. Like,
That is an accurate representation of what they think. that-
Yeah,
that's what
facts.
they think.
Yeah.
So when
Yeah.
they see you like living your best life, they're like,
Where we at? Oh, you want to know where I'm at? We outside!
Why
shouldn't
are
be
you
possible.
outside?
It
Why are you
shouldn't be
outside?
possible.
as a
Yeah.
Christian,
Yeah.
you know, you post a cocktail as a Christian. It's a mocktail, baby. Or one really good example when I got my nose pierced. My
Yeah.
wow,
That was a problem.
an issue as a Christian. What? As
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
Christian, what?
Yeah.
Like, so I'm unclean. Like, so how are you going to be talking to Jesus? I said, like this. What's up, Jesus? What's up, dog? You know what I mean?
How you do?
How you do it?
Yeah.
But like, I'm just hoping that even in the way we live, we're able to demonstrate the freedom in Christianity.
That's
Yeah.
dope. That's
And
good.
not just like, hey, we are under some kind of bondage. Because
So
we're
it's-
not.
Young men's got this is piercings, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Why? Because they're fashion.
Because I'm
you're
free.
the-
I'm free.
I think that's so dope though, because like I find that like a lot of the times when people initially hear about like Christianity, or you make friends who may not be Christians or see it in a certain light, they feel like it's very restrictive. They're also, do not do this, do not do that, 10 commandments, oh my gosh, you know. But when you then when they then see you live out your life as a Christian, and I guess that's the importance of carrying yourself according to the standard that God has given you, you know what I mean, is that people then see the God in your lifestyle. So a lot of the times we preach, but people pay more attention to how we live. So
Yeah.
let your preach, so to say, your gospel, your word be your life.
Yeah.
That's why they say it's a living testimony, because you're living out the word. And I always find that so dope, because you find more people come to you, not necessarily when you've been like, the Bible says, but when you've lived out what the Bible says.
Yeah.
So if you say, oh, do not swear, and they see that you don't. So someone actually said to me, like, why don't you swear? They're like, are you a Christian? And I was like, I am a Christian! I promise I am! Oh, lol. So that's always like pretty interesting. And I think maybe just sort of, as we're sort of wrapping it up, would be like, what would be some of the pointers that maybe like you guys would give to maybe someone? I think we've spoken about, feeling pressure to be a specific person. I like what Alison actually said there, that yes, you should carry yourself a certain way, but also understand the freedom that God has given and granted you in this life. Because ultimately, Jesus came to die so we could be free. So a lot of the things that people hold against us, sometimes even in your old life, people point back to who you were before.
That's cute, but I'm not there anymore. So.
That's a problem.
We've moved from
That's
there,
a
yeah.
problem.
If you
Because
wanna keep
people-
knowing her, go for it.
Yeah, and people will be like, hey.
I'm gonna start doing that actually.
What?
Because people don't want to accept that this is who I am now.
Mm.
They want to be like, but bye, we did this. We did,
Yeah.
actually.
We were even
But-
together.
Yeah, we were.
And that's
But
what makes it the testimony.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm here now, but people do not want to do that.
Mm.
You know? And this is why I feel like I've been saying, hi, I'm Alison. I got baptized on Sunday.
Hey!
I'm new.
Congratulations. I'm a new creation. I'm a brand new man.
No, I don't.
No, we
All
don't know the song, but I
things
go.
have passed away.
You were
Okay.
saying it like
It's supposed
as
to
if you're gonna
finish.
It's
continue.
supposed to finish.
I don't know the song. They've stopped like I'm gonna finish it.
Like
I
you're
don't know
gonna
the
fin-
song.
They sang it on Sunday, huh?
Did
That
they?
song, did they?
No.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Don't make it seem like it was so. Forgetting the part when they come out the water.
No.
I know.
Actually,
It's
I
okay. We love
Do
you.
you know, I had the video, Matt. Oh, I had a full face of makeup on
When you came out.
Left
with
the water.
my lashes and everything.
Uh,
So I came out.
Check. Hey,
like,
you have to put the video
You
in.
send the videos.
Ah,
You send picture in picture.
GMO. Okay.
Face,
I don't know. Like,
if I'm gonna beat my face,
And you know people go, they go,
and now I came out like,
You know, mocking it. You're mocking it.
like here's Jesus, we doing
oh,
this
have
again.
you been to baptism?
No,
we wanna.
Not everyone can swim, huh?
We wanna
People go for
I don't think I even like did the whole nose thing. I just went down.
When they're about to go in, it's like,
That's my favorite. When people are about to go, they hold their nose and go,
I don't even think I did. I was grace and substance. My
we're
heart-
drowning,
the
guys.
lashes and the makeup were on. Auntie,
And they came out and I was
we are
like,
going to show them. We are going to show them.
I want you.
we're gonna put the video in. We're gonna have to put the video in.
And I had the longest lashes I have in my collection. Big like
Blinkers.
yeah, so we. And I came out like. It was so quick. I was like, huh? It's such a bit, but like I was very emotional throughout the day, so
Yeah.
I guess that's the experience. But
Yeah.
That's so, but I think that's what's always cool is that like when you become a Christian, you're literally like, as it says, born again.
Yeah.
So there's also that element of now, like when people, I guess that'd be the question maybe to you, Matt. Is like, have you ever had to deal with people saying, "Oh, you used to do this," or "This is who you are." You know what I mean? Or they expect you to have even maybe gone like further. So let's say, for example, every evening you were in WAB Bawa Club. That was you every night, and meeting different people, whatever. And now people are like, surely Matt does drugs because.
Whoa.
I
Sorry.
think you're like,
I
what?
never expected that.
she
No.
never has met a
But I mean, like, the progression may be that for some people, where like if you're, because going to, like, people go to club, like it's a thing, right? But some go like religiously, like every night, and most of the time it's a progressive thing. I'm not saying if you go to club every night you're also doing drugs, but some people may have like seen like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
he may have been headed in that direction as an example. People are like, oh no, surely Matt does those drugs, or he does this, or he does that. Has that been a thing that you've had to?
Yeah, it's definitely happened before because obviously, like, I wasn't like who I am today.
Ah.
I'm not saying drugs. Marco is that guy.
That guy.
We're trying to do role play. We're just trying to see.
role play.
Yeah, we're acting. We're acting.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I'll be that person. Matthew. No, I'm playing.
When? Never. Never. But yeah, I think the thing is, it's difficult in the beginning when you don't understand, right? Okay, so the Lord has qualified us to be this new creation, and obviously some of the stuff you're not proud of. So it's kind of like an embarrassing thing. But then that's the testimony at the end of the day. Like I'm no longer what I was.
Yeah.
Not to say that I was some monster, but like I'm a bit of
A what? A monster!
No, the Lord.
Wow!
He really did, man.
I think, wow.
Like, why I really want to like hear how you dealt with that. How did you come from like? Cause now your sister's done some really embarrassing things, and like
Yours.
literally translate
Yours.
what you just said.
Yours.
Yeah.
Yours.
And like when people bring them up, I'm genuinely
yeah.
not that person anymore. But
Yeah.
there's still that feeling of embarrassment that's attached, that shame that's attached to that experience or experiences. How did you like get to a place where you're like, it's true, I was that person, but now I'm this person. Like
And I'm working towards
better.
I think it's what you touched on is you really have to understand your freedom, right? Because the plan is for you to stay trapped and keep on beating yourself and in that space of shame, right? Because when you're like feeling guilty and whatever, you're not really doing much. You're not productive in terms of your walk with
because you're
God
almost
or who
working
you want
on
to
not
become.
being ashamed.
Yeah, you're focused on the past, so you can't be
Yeah.
looking to the future.
That's good.
So you have to just get to a point where like and understand like, look, God, you are the one who equipped me, you qualified me, you've set me free. I'm focused on you. I don't care about what people are saying anymore. Obviously it's tricky, but Lord, help me with this, and you'll get there.
Yeah.
Eventually, yeah.
I think that's dope that you said like focus on the future.
Not
Also
the
like
past, yeah.
also like we hear that like we've been forgiven and the person who matters most is obviously the Lord. So I think, and not to say that you're focusing on people, but when you pay too much attention to what people are saying, it also removes your focus from God. Because as people, to be honest, we can only really focus on one thing at a time. Even like, so if your focus is on God and what He's spoken over your life, and that's the number one voice speaking into your life, you also understand that, no, like, when you've been forgiven, you've also, like, the shame and stuff has also been taken away. Like, that's what Jesus died for on the cross. So when people come to you like, hey, Matthew, John, we know that John used to
Do whatever.
do this. Like, it's like, hey, John, let's go do this. And you're like, no, that's not me anymore.
This is not me anymore.
And John is like, yeah, sorry. And they're like, no, but this is who you are.
Exactly.
And
It's like they also
no.
try to like put it down your throat, like, hey, but
Yeah.
teacher, like
Exactly. Yeah, like,
Exactly.
don't do it anymore. And
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
And this isn't, you don't have to disclose, but
It's alright.
these people that make those comments, are they close to you?
they used to be. I don't know how to. Let me answer it like this. It's like I don't know how to classify that anymore, because it's not aligning with what I want to do right now.
Okay.
And so by default, I'm going to gravitate away from them. And now I also have to discard all of those attachments, especially to do with those things of the past, and I've noticed that the really close ones understand.
Yeah.
And they don't want to push you to do anything. But there's those ones you used to hang out with. Like we tried to classify friends in the beginning. Those are those ones
That you don't know where to
like, we used to hang out like that. But now, because I'm not in that circle, it's like, holier than thou. Hate that so much. Like, I'm not trying to be holier than thou. I'm just trying to be holy.
But I guess.
It's leaving people to think what they want to think. Like, and surrounding yourself with people who want you to grow. Like you're saying, the closest people to you are the ones who understand, the ones who get it. And those are the ones that you can be your new self with. Like, we're all on a self-development process. And a lot of the time, those people who are saying whatever they're saying, a lot of that is projection.
Yeah.
Some people want to jump out of the spaces that they're in, but they can't. So when they see you doing it, now they're trying to hold you back and remind you of who you were.
And you know what I always find quite interesting is like, Hansi
It's,
parked them.
personal.
No. I'm saying,
Have you been parked
That's
before?
park them.
don't park me.
You can't
Hansi
park
can't
me.
park me.
You can't do that. Sorry.
Let's go. I think Hansi, I need to have this donut again.
You can't park me.
I think that's so dope because I've also realized that sometimes, let's say like for example, when I then moved away from certain people, not because they were bad people inherently, but because they were not aligning with who I was wanting to become. And one, like obviously you go back and like I'm trying to reach them and like share and tell them who I am now, but you see that they're not accepting who you are now. If anything, they're trying to drag you back to be your former self, right? But because you're trying to go in this direction, it means I may have to, like you said, you have to park them, right?
But then also, in you going back to try and tell them, you need to accept that sometimes people are for seasons. Like, we're not going to know everyone all the time. And you don't-
Exactly.
It's remembering that you're making this change because you're answering to yourself and God.
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
because you're answering to them.
Exactly.
So don't feel the need or the pressure to, hey, look at me. Like, you don't have to speak it. Like, they
Yeah.
can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why they're holding it. They can see it.
They can see it.
And I guess maybe just like as a final sort of comment to be like, literally with that, because they can see it. Sometimes you've moved forward, and people see it.
A
And like I
lot.
said, some people are afraid to take the leap as well.
Yeah.
And you'll find that maybe like 6 months down the line, hey bro, I just wanted to let you know that like I'd like to pursue this, I'd like to do that, because they've seen like, okay, I want to do it, but they're not doing it. They've just done it. So let them come back to me because I don't know if I can do it as well. Then they see, oh wait, no, they've actually done it and it's worked out for them. Some people have actually like reached out and been like, yo, like just help me, like balance me. Like I'm also trying to go in that direction. And I think that's the part of the testimony is like some people,
Yeah.
some won't. Some will just be like, don't do your thing.
Forget it.
Exactly.
Away with it.
And that's fine. I think even with like then being like in spaces like work, for example, would just be maybe spending less time with certain colleagues and maybe changing the people you chill with, if it's possible. And even if not, like then limiting certain interactions if it means
Boundaries.
sorry, hindrance, right? Boundaries. You're setting more concrete boundaries. But yeah, ultimately I guess we're meant to be the salt of the earth. So we're here to talk to people, influence people, but also we need to remember that the number one relationship in our lives is with God. No matter how close or distant people are. And with that being said, thank you very much for tuning into the Middle of Podcast. I'm your host, Malcolm Bodero.
I'm your co-host Matthew, and see you.
And I am the main character.
Oh, sorry. Like,
He wishes.
Comment, subscribe,
share.
share with your friends.
Exactly.
Co-host,
Still
huh?
got it.
New co-host.
Replace him with.
That one we can do.
Thank you.
I think
Gladly.
automatic kind of.
I've been subbed out. Huh?
We need to park
They-
it.
I cannot be parked. That's what I learned today. I cannot be. Title of the podcast. You can't park me.
And do you guys want to share your socials or?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
What's my Instagram? I think my Instagram is just and then JOCE Joss underscore on Instagram and not really anywhere else.
Cool.
Yeah.
Dope.
My Instagram is Al as in AL _ Sawaz SAWAZ. And for the podcast is at the Al Boost Podcast.
Shout out.
My socials are TMIDDLE of podcast. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Instagram. Don't forget to give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're on Spotify.
You're just talking.
We're on all
Don't even
podcast
know.
streaming services.
Podcast streaming services.
Yeah. And yeah, I'll probably just put them all in the description, maybe.
Not,
Don't
not,
forget my
not,
bank details.
not on the person.
Not on the.
We're gonna put them on
Well,
the person.
we'll
We
see.
can.
We'll
can.
see. We'll see. That's possible.
I'll make.
This is
I'll
I'm
make
putting
them-
links on
worry.
people on the screen.
Don't worry.
About it.
Sorry, as a head producer, I'll make it happen. Don't worry.
producer.
He said-
Ask him how to switch on the camera. That's what we need to do. Ask him how to switch on the camera.
It's how he keeps
I can.
promoting himself.
Talk.
Guys,
Like you came from
I'm
like,
a
the
new
domain of
creation.
every second you're a new creation. Every second, wow.
See, it's human nature. You're trying to hold me back.
Fuck Allison.
You can't fuck me.
Thank you guys so much. See you in the next episode. Cheers.
Au revoir.
Yes, as the producer.
Aye.
Ah.